Oran is the essence of Dead Demon's Dededede destruction. She is the entire vibe. She's the most important character to the plot, and she encompasses the theme. In this video, I'm going to explain why Oran is a fantastic character and the most important part of this anime. In other words, why Ontan is absolute. The first aspect to the essence of Dededede is the plot, which is caused entirely by Oran. In the original timeline, Oran and Dededede don't initially become friends at school. This delay leaves Dededede in a depressed and bitter state, eventually leading to being corrupted by advanced technology that allowed her to kill people she deemed bad. In the end, she couldn't deal with her own actions and jumped off her apartment building, not surviving the fall. The alien invader told Oran of a way of resetting her life by going into a different dimension. However, from this experience with the girls, the invader knew not to bring the rest of his species to Earth. In another dimension where things played out differently, he might still call for the invasion. Regardless of this, Oran selfishly chooses to save Dededede from her fate and hops into the other dimension. As the invader predicted, his people brought their mothership to the planet. One of the main themes of this story is the importance of the individual experience versus the large collective of society. It's shown over and over again how those too involved with big important matters end up in miserable states or as very evil people. The theme is perfectly illustrated by Oran's choice, making Dededede more important than the fate of the entire world. Oran is also the vibe of the story, constantly spouting off about revolution and distrust of the government while living a relatively normal life. She's goofy and upbeat and fun, while also having a dark view of the world. She knows everything is going to end and chooses to care about and spend her time with Dededede. It's an incredibly interesting idea, focusing on a character that forsakes millions of lives and the future of society to enjoy the relationships around her. And it's hard to blame her because it's not really her fault. One of the major themes of Dededede is the idea of people in powerful positions making decisions that affect massive amounts of people. It doesn't give any answers on it. Even the anti-government people are shown as selfish, stupid, or just plain evil. In the original timeline, Dededede acted as a hero to kill the people abusing their power with the alien's technology, but even that led to the destruction of her soul and her death. Knowing what is going to happen to the world, Oran accepts it and enjoys her life while she can. Death is inevitable in life, whether it's from a doomed spaceship or a sickness and old age. One of the most powerful lines Oran gives about this is near the end of the show, where she explains the only thing she really felt when watching the mothership destroy Tokyo was a sort of relief that the day that was bound to come had finally arrived. Another important aspect of Oran's character is how much she cares for her friends. We know she chooses Dededede specifically over the entire world, but she isn't doing this out of a completely selfish attitude to spend more time with her. We see her choosing to act more outgoing to become Dededede's friend to save her, and not burdening her friends with the knowledge of the end of the world. There's a lot of nuance to how she feels about causing the mothership to arrive, so this is up to interpretation. But I don't think Oran feels much guilt about going into this dimension and changing fate. I think she truly feels Dededede is more valuable. The only thing that bothers her is if Dededede would be upset about her actions. Near the end of the story, when she finally asks Dededede about it, she states she would still be on Oran's side, because Ontan is absolute. We'll get into what that means later in the video. Regardless of whether it was a selfish action or not, Oran wanted to save her friend because she truly cared about her. And we see this even further with her wacky personality that she uses to cheer up her friends. This is most obvious in the death of her friend Kiho. She was killed suddenly by falling debris from the spaceship. Her death was announced on the news and in class. That entire episode shows a very realistic and heartbreaking look at grief, with Dededede and the other girls dealing with loss. But Oran, who showed up late, acted hyper and happy, talking about nonsense as she always did. Dededede, who didn't have the heart to tell her initially, couldn't take it anymore and yells at Oran to listen about Kiho. But Oran already knew. This is such an incredible look at how different people deal with loss, while also revealing more about Oran's character. It's important to note that she isn't like Okabe from Steins Gate, who puts on his mad scientist act to cheer up Mayuri. Oran does choose to act all crazy sometimes to cheer up those around her, but being weird and over the top is part of her personality, which brings even more authenticity and nuance to her character. Beyond all these things, Oran embodies the main theme of the story, which is simply friendship. With all the depth, realism, and heart put into the work, it's almost hidden in plain sight that this is the true core of the story. The alien invasion, dimension hopping, and government conspiracy is all background material compared to the friendship between Oran and Karode, but it's not like the plot is focused on their relationship. They rarely fight or have any sort of conflict with each other. There aren't many moments where either of them do something expressly meaningful for the other, and yet it's very clear that this is the true core of the story. Karode in multiple instances says that Oran is absolute. It took me a while to grasp what it meant, but I think it's actually very simple, and shows more than anything else how Oran is the essence of Dededede Demon's Dededede destruction. Through everything that happens in each timeline, Oran stays the same. She is the best friend of Karode, not by saving her life or helping her overcome her problems, but simply by being there. By being constant and consistent, she is absolute. We see in the original timeline how Karode had the potential to be a different person and go down a dark road, but in all three universes, Oran is her authentic self, which leads to their friendship. From the bizarre style of the storytelling to the heart of the theme, Oran embodies the essence of Dead Demon's Dededede destruction. She is an extremely interesting character whose strength and love is usually hidden by her quirky behavior. She is easily one of my new favorite characters, but most of all, she is absolute. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the concept of this video, I made two others, Reagan from Mob Psycho and Bone Druid from Made in Abyss. Check those out on the end screen. If you want more videos from me, subscribe, and then click the join button if you're interested in even more exclusive videos. That's all from me, Jamil.